Living car-free in most of America is a difficult or sometimes even an impossible task. But does it really have to be? Many cities around the world don't base their cities entirely on access to cars, but instead they base their neighborhoods on making them places to live, putting people who live there first and not their cars. Now, there definitely are some older neighborhoods and cities around the US that fall in line with these principles, but during the 20th century, many cities made this kind of development illegal. However, it's now the 21st century, and we know a little bit better than to build everything around cars. So, are there any neighborhoods in the US that are being built with these urbanist principles? Well, there's one that claims to be the first car-free neighborhood built from scratch in the US. Not only that, but they invited me to come and check out their neighborhood. So I packed a bag, boarded a flight, and headed down to Tempe, Arizona to check out Cul-de-sac, America's newest car-free neighborhood. So after I got done checking out Phoenix's newest light rail extension's grand opening, I hopped on the Valley Metro light rail south through Midtown and downtown Phoenix, and then east past the airport, and then through downtown Tempe, and then hopping off at the Smith Martin Apache Boulevard station. It's not hard to notice cul-de-sac after hopping off the Valley Metro light rail. It's conveniently close to the station. All I had to do was cross Apache Boulevard, and I was in the community. As soon as you step into cul-de-sac, you notice how much different it is than every other development in Tempe. Better yet, most developments in the US. When you enter cul-de-sac, it feels natural to enter as a pedestrian or cyclist. Bike parking is near every entrance, and they have multiple entrances for pedestrians. While with most other apartment complexes in North America, you have easy to notice parking areas and pull-in areas for cars. Cul-de-sac just has one tiny lot, mainly for deliveries and potential leasers. But how did the neighborhood get away without meeting the parking minimums of Tempe? Well, Cul-de-sac was actually able to make a deal with the city of Tempe to exempt them from the parking requirements, and all of this is before you even truly enter the community. So, what's it like inside? Once you walk past the entrance into cul-de-sac, you really start to feel how much the neighborhood is designed for people. The current main street of cul-de-sac is maybe 25 feet wide at most, with much of the community being full of narrow corridors. This is honestly such a nice touch, as it puts the community into a wonderful human scale and keeps it interesting. This, however, is not the only thing at a human scale in cul-de-sac. When you walk through the neighborhood, all of the signage and design is at a very human scale. No massive billboards that are designed for people driving cars to see and make you feel small. Everything in the neighborhood being designed for pedestrians also means making things comfortable for pedestrians. And if there's one thing that's incredibly important for pedestrians in Arizona, it's dealing with the heat. Many of you are probably thinking, there's no way you can make Arizona neighborhoods walkable. It's too hot in the summer. And there's no doubt that it gets insanely hot in the summer in Arizona, especially Phoenix. But much of that is amplified by the car-dependent design of the region, using materials like asphalt that absorb heat and then not building shade for pedestrians. Luckily, Cul-de-sac looked into making their neighborhood pleasant to walk in, even in the summertime. The first thing they did is that cul-de-sac uses no asphalt in the construction of the neighborhood, and instead uses materials that keeps the buildings and ground from absorbing heat. The other thing that helps keep the neighborhood cool is the lovely narrow corridors providing shade for most of the day in the neighborhood. They also do have some trees planted in the neighborhood, but they're still pretty young, and it will be a while before they actually become shade trees. Now, in order to make a car-free community in an area as well known for its car dependency as the Phoenix metro area, you'll have to have some real advantages in and around the community. So Cul-de-sac throws in some perks for its residents to help them live car-free. If you live in Cul-de-sac, they'll not only give you a pass to the Valley Metro, giving you unlimited light rail and bus rides for your entire lease, but they'll also give you discounts on e-scooter rentals, car share, and ride share. In the actual community, the neighborhood is a mixed-use development, which at the current moment contains a restaurant, e-bike shop, coffee shop, and most importantly, a grocery store. The people at Cul-de-sac not only worked well to make sure that trips outside of their neighborhood would be worked well with car-free accommodations, but also that there would be a lot of trips that would be reduced in length by providing businesses in their neighborhood. These amenities provide huge advantages for car-free living at Cul-de-sac. But do you know what also offers additional amenities? My Patreon, where you can get access to a whole bunch of perks like extra videos and your name in the credits. But let's get back to talking about Cul-de-sac. Now, even though this is an incredible development, nothing is perfect, and it'd be disingenuous to not provide some critiques of Cul-de-sac. My first issue with it is the on-site grocery store. It definitely has most things that you'll need, but it is on the pricier side when it comes to provisions from there. And now, this isn't the end of the world, as it's mostly a place to just pick up some convenient groceries in a pinch, and not necessarily a place most people would go to do all their grocery shopping at. The other issue I had with the neighborhood was it felt kind of empty. Now, there were definitely some people walking around the neighborhood from residents and just people that were frequenting the businesses, and even some people riding bikes through it, but there honestly weren't that many people around the entire development, and it just did feel a little bit empty. But these aren't deal breakers in my mind, and honestly, there's some pretty valid reasons as to why these kind of exist at the moment. Cul-de-sac is still an incredibly new neighborhood, with its first opening being back in 2023. The neighborhood still hasn't even come close to completion, as hundreds of apartments are still under construction. And if you remember my second complaint I mentioned 20 seconds ago, it's totally fine for it to currently feel a little empty, as many residents are still yet to move in. But the small section that's currently completed is an incredibly promising development. It's not too often that you get to see companies that are willing to go the extra mile and give car-free, walkable, transit-oriented neighborhoods a shot. The future looks bright for Cul-de-sac, with the expansion ongoing and plans to expand to other cities in the future. The car-free and transit-oriented design of Cul-de-sac is proving to be incredibly popular, and hopefully we can see more developments follow soon. Cul-de-sac, in my mind, feels a lot like the main keystone species of the Sonoran Desert, the saguaro cactus. Like how the saguaro is the community for many species in an environment short on water, Cul-de-sac is a community in an area that's short on walkable spaces. Cul-de-sac overall is just a very refreshing development in an area that's full of car dependency, and hopefully we can see more car-free and car-light, transit-oriented developments come to more cities across our country. Because not only do we need to reduce our car dependency, but it's also incredibly in demand to build these kind of neighborhoods. But have you ever been to Cul-de-sac? Would you live in a car-free community? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. First, I want to thank Cul-de-sac for inviting me out there and giving me a special tour. It was really great to get some insight on the community directly from Cul-de-sac, and I'm very appreciative for that. Secondly, I want to thank you viewers, and especially my patrons, especially Tony Stunts and CC Marv MD. Without the support of the patrons, this video would not have been possible, so I'm very appreciative for their support, and if you want to join them and get a whole bunch of perks for being a patron, the link is down below in the description. Also down there, you'll find the links to my other social medias, including TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. You'll also be able to find my Discord down there, where you can join my community. Guys, this was the second part of my Phoenix Urbanism series, and I can't thank you enough for all the support on the channel, whether you're a patron or just a normal viewer. I can't wait to take some more urbanist trips in the future and give you some more trip reports and more information on other urbanist breaking stories, but as always, I'll see y'all on the next one.